Bonjour à tous everyone! Excited to announce that Sangi and myself will be joining the Endpoint Management Summit in Paris this year, and we will be hosting the keynotes to talk about Microsoft Intune.
That's right. We'll be there hosting the event keynote once again, and we will talk all about Intune's announcements, our vision, what's coming soon, the future of endpoint management, and as always, we will have some amazing demos. And yes, we will talk about agents too. And this time, not the 007 kind.
So no James Bond again. I keep flying and hoping to meet him. Anyways, customers, users, partners, we are all looking forward to meet each one of you, geek out on Microsoft Intune discussion, and talk about all of the greatest things that our team has been developing and delivering. And you know what? There is one more person that Sangi and I are pushing really hard to join us for the keynote. Hopefully, it's going to be a great surprise to share with you.
Looking forward to seeing you all there. Really can't wait to be there and see everybody. And while we are there, let's not forget the croissants. Oh, I'm so ready for it. A bientôt. See you all soon.
A bientôt, everyone, and please buy the tickets now. Bonjour à tous everyone! Excited to announce that Sangi and myself will be joining the Endpoint Management Summit in Paris this year, and we will be hosting the keynotes to talk about Microsoft Intune.
That's right. We'll be there hosting the event keynote once again, and we will talk all about Intune's announcements, our vision, what's coming soon, the future of endpoint management, and as always, we will have some amazing demos. And yes, we will talk about agents too. And this time, not the 007 kind.
So no James Bond again. I keep flying and hoping to meet him. Anyways, customers, users, partners, we are all looking forward to meet each one of you, geek out on Microsoft Intune discussion, and talk about all of the greatest things that our team has been developing and delivering. And you know what? There is one more person that Sengi and I are pushing really hard to join us for the keynote. Hopefully, it's going to be a great surprise to share with you.
Looking forward to seeing you all there. Really can't wait to be there and see everybody. And while we are there, let's not forget the croissants. Oh, I'm so ready for it. A bientôt. See you all soon.
A bientôt, everyone, and please buy the tickets now.
Oh, hello everyone. Welcome to our today episode of our question for the group session. And today we have again a very nice audience to answer all your questions you post in the LinkedIn chat. This means if you have questions you want to ask any one of us, then feel free to post your question in the chat. Maybe I will talk a bit about our schedule for today. We will start with a short introduction of every speaker we have today with us. Then we have a short presentation about troubleshooting around Intune, and then we jump in the question of you. And another thing what is important to mention, everyone who posted a question in the LinkedIn chat also is part of our raffle. You can win a ticket for Paris for the Management Summit, and also you have the possibilities to win 2 copies of my book. And with this, we will jump in a short introduction. I think we have today a packed room with a lot of different speakers, and I first will hand over to Florian, who is the second moderator for today.
Hi everyone, and welcome from my side as well. Glad to be here today. I'm looking forward to the great question we can answer from the community, and also hope to see a lot of you in April at the summit in Paris.
Yeah, will you go next?
Yeah, so hello, my name is Per Larsen. I'm in the Intune product group, working on the customer side and mainly on the endpoint security blade inside Intune.
Perfect. Then
Hi.
Simon.
My name is Simon Skottemsvik. I'm an Intune MVP based in Norway. I work as cloud consultant in Cloudway. So yeah.
Thank you, Simon. Andrew?
Hi everyone, I'm Andrew. I'm an Intune MVP from the UK, and I work for Software Central developing Intune tools.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Matthias, and I work from a company called Minecore and have around 21 years of experience in automation and stuff like that, but working a lot in Intune and Autopilot for huge customers.
Great. Welcome, Matthias. Jürgen? We can't hear you. I think you're still muted.
Sorry about that. My name is Jörgen Nilsson. I'm from Sweden. I've been working as a consultant for 30 years now, which is crazy just saying that. Also an Intune MVP, working at OneWin in Sweden and doing a lot of fun Intune projects at the moment.
Perfect. Then Lavanya.
Hey everyone, I'm Lavanya. I am part of the Intune product team. I lead the Copilot efforts, and I come back with a great experience working on AI, ML, data, and analytics. That's my specialization, and happy to be here.
Perfect. Welcome, Lavanya. Max?
Hey folks, my name is Max Stein. I'm a product manager here at Microsoft on the customer experience team, leading our social media.
Perfect. And last but not least, Benjamin.
Thanks, Yannick. Hey everyone, my name is Benjamin Flam. I am a feature product manager on the Apple MDM side of Intune, so focus mostly on our admin configuration scenarios and a lot of declarative device management.
Great. Good. And with this, we want to jump in a quick icebreaker question. Maybe everyone can say something about which topics or what are things what you're most looking forward this year, for sure, in the area of Intune. Maybe we can start with Per again.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to some of the improvement that we're doing on Copilot into Intune to actually make it way easier for IT admins to work in the Intune console.
Benjamin?
Yeah, I think y'all are going to get tired of hearing it from me, but we have a lot of declarative device management or DDM features in the works, and I'm excited to see those start to roll out.
Good. Sounds nice. Matthias?
It's a tough one. It's a tough one. We basically don't know what's coming out, but every month I look forward to looking what's new and crunch what's coming into the products. But I am looking forward to see more AI in our toolings and be able to use it for better troubleshooting, better summarization, etc., etc.
Perfect. Lavanya?
Let's start by saying that Per stole my thunder. I think I'm super excited about our upcoming release, where we are working on a lot of the feedback that our customers have shared in terms of what is the AI and more of the Copilot stuff that they would like to see in the tool. So we are working super hard behind the scenes. So can't wait to get that landed in the product for you all to use. So that's what I'm most excited about.
That's great. Simon?
It's a lot of stuff, great stuff you're mentioning here. It's hard to figure stuff that's not under NDA. But definitely AI and Copilot stuff. I want like the new labs to be native in the portal, and yeah, of course, being out in the community and conferences, meeting people and talking about this stuff. I really look forward to that in this year to come.
Thank you, Simon. And Max?
I would say the power of the
Max,
community. It really takes the collective feedback of everyone like you to help shape the product and kind of have us focus on what we want to work on next. We can't do it without you. So thank you. And that's what I look forward to the most.
Jürgen, you're the next
As
one.
everyone else said AI, I will say MEM Summit in Paris. Or no, sorry, that's not the feature. But let's say Intune Suite and more features, and all the features in there being more, getting more features and more value for the customers, as there's some really good stuff in there.
Okay, good. And then Andrew.
I will go advancements to device prep. I'd like to see where that's going to move to.
Okay, thank you all to talk about your features where you are looking forward. And I think as next, Max, you create a short presentation, right, about troubleshooting.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you. Let me see if I can share my screen. Share. Boop. I think that's coming through. Awesome.
Yeah, perfect.
So, sweet. So hey folks, of course, I'm Max Stein. Again, I'm a product manager here at Microsoft Security on our CXE or customer experience team. Also the face and the team behind some of your hopefully favorite handles, Intune support team and Microsoft security support team. A few highlights, what we're covering today. How you can get quick help out on social, some support tips and tricks, some release updates, how you can stay updated, some honorable mentions for some scaling events. So social. So of course you found us here today, but some quick tips on how you can stay up to date out on social media. If you're not familiar with a couple of our handles, so we are active out on Twitter /X for Intune sub team or Intune support team, and most recently Microsoft security support team. Our whole kind of focus and ethos is helping you, our customers and our IT pros and developers, be successful with all things Microsoft security. So whether it be amplification, some of our great content, I think some of my Microsoft peers have mentioned kind of like the what's new, what's coming for Microsoft Intune and our Microsoft security products. We do have a plethora of content out on tech community and blogs and everything else. So stay tuned to our social channels where you can keep updated with those. And of course, like release updates as well. So when you can expect the next maybe MDE engine update or client update to what's coming this week in Intune. The second one here, helping you get unblocked. If there are any recent known issues, service incidents, things that we've found through our engineering peers, and of course, customers like yourself, you're more than welcome and feel free to reach out to us over social and we're able to help get it over to the right place. Like Vanya is probably a good one where we see quote unquote issues with Copilot. We're able to work with her directly. So it takes the power of the community. So feel free to throw anything and everything at us and we'll get you over to the right spot. And of course, when you do create a support case, when you're going through support, you have a support ticket open, you may not getting maybe the help that you need, or you just want a second pair of eyes. Again, you're more than welcome to reach out to us on social, and we're able to help direct you to the right folks internally or get some additional eyes on it. And last but not least, community support. Again, it takes the power of the community to help everyone and be successful. So an honorable nod to some of our community's efforts and support that are out there. So Reddit, the Intune and MS Intune subreddits, Microsoft Q&A, if you're not familiar with there, it's a lot of good questions amongst the community. Say you're running into a particular issue, just want a sanity check where folks are coming from. If you're a Mac admin, looking at you, Ben, my peer on the call, and some of the other folks that are out there, there is a community dedicated for Mac admins out on Slack as well. So if you're not there, that's a good one to join. Last but not least, a couple of other ones, tech communities. Both myself and our team, we manage the Intune customer success blog. Again, where we have those amplifications, portability blogs on how to help you be successful. And then last but not least, LinkedIn, on to our lovely group here, where you can stay updated on the latest and greatest in the power of the community. Support, some support tips here. If you're not familiar, there is some awesome self-serviceable resources available in the management console today, where you can directly troubleshoot users or issue scenarios directly in the blade. You can collect Windows diagnostics remotely. So if you have users and devices that are out in the field, you can, of course, not interrupt everyone and collect those remotely. There is some self-help in the help and support blade and pane. We'll quickly show a demo here in a bit. And then last but not least, as you go ahead and create support tickets, as you work through that flow, we do have some help built into the blade itself to provide you with self-serviceable resources, as well as some in-depth troubleshooting there. What I mentioned earlier for the troubleshooting and support blade, if you're familiar with this, awesome. If this is new to you, welcome. But some short links here, of course, you can get to it later as well. So feel free to take a screenshot, save it. Again, like if you have a user, maybe something to do with enrollment, maybe their mobile device or laptop, over in the troubleshooting and support blade, you can select a user. We have made some improvements in this blade where we got rid of some donuts. If you love donuts, that's awesome. If you love it for UI, donuts are gone. But with this, we're calling this our troubleshooting experience v2. And of course, it's, again, part of the community and the feedback. So if you have any comments, questions, a quick way to get direct feedback throughout any of the Microsoft Intune blades is hard to see, but over on the top right, there's a little feedback chat button. You're able to share direct feedback with whichever blade that you're in. It goes directly to our feature teams. But with this blade in particular, that's something our horizontal team owns. So again, if you have any questions, comments, feedback around this experience, you want to see more, you want to see less of something, feel free to throw it in the comments or reach out directly, and we'll get it over to the appropriate folks. I mentioned something to do with the help and support blade previously. Again, here's like a quick example of as you go through the help and support experience over in the typing box, you see something with enrollment. There's a run diagnostic blade and pane that kind of pops out. Prior to this, I had entered in a user. And so with that, so like max@contoso.com, and it runs through our diagnostic troubleshooting experience. And so we can quickly see here that there's no enrollment issues found. So whether a user may have a license or not, or maybe enrollment restrictions are blocked, is a quick and easy way to kind of self-diagnose and troubleshoot, basically like an enrollment issue. We do have some other scenarios in there around like app deployment, and licensing checks and things like that. And again, if you're looking for a particular kind of troubleshooting diagnostic experience that's not quite there today, again, please share your feedback. And a bonus tip, as this is a frequent scenario that we've seen out in social recently, and I believe I saw a few questions around this in chat earlier as well. But regarding Autopilot deployments and application deployment to AP just deployment as a whole, we do have some great kind of troubleshooting experience and how you can self-diagnose and troubleshooting logs, and that's through ESP or enrollment status page. So whether you have a user, maybe change a configuration in your environment or a application deployment, whatever the case, basically you can think of it as application or troubleshooting Autopilot as a whole. There's some quick tips there on how you can gather logs and self-diagnose and where to kind of go to next. And last but not least, Windows update policies. I'm sure there's a few of you out there going to the latest feature update release. the quick tip here is always test before we deploy to production, whether it be like a test ring or a handful of devices. Always good to test before we deploy to prod, because we don't want to be in a scenario where we have the latest update to hundreds, if not thousands of devices. So we have a couple of blog posts from our Windows IT Pro team. Again, feel free to take a screenshot, save these for later. But we do have some best practices and how you can, what we as a Microsoft kind of recommend to deploy within your configuration policies, feature update policies, Windows update policies, and also troubleshooting as well. So maybe something isn't deploying as correctly or expected. Maybe you have one device a little bit different than the others. Some good information there. Release updates. I think we all might know how we can, every month, Intune ships on a monthly cadence. Over in the tenant admin, tenant status blade, we have some tenant details. You can see what version that you're on. I don't quite think we announced it yet, but a good honorable nod that we have the latest 2502 release going out this week. I believe that's starting to deploy across the APAC region. So if you're in APAC, something's coming soon for you. And so with our release updates, we do amplify those and let you know out on our social channels, Twitter/X, on kind of where we are in the release process. So basically what's coming, what region that we're deploying in, and as well as what's coming. So if you're familiar with our What's New Microsoft Learn documentation, we publish that there. And of course, from our director, Scott Sawyer, we do have kind of like his voice and vision on like what he's most excited for. We'll run out of time here shortly. This is a good, awesome one that I love to share with our community and how to stay up to date with our service changes. A lot of great information here, a lot of good tips and tricks and AKAs. What's new? Again, we kind of touch on Scott Sawyer. So look at what's coming there. And shameless plug for how to stay up to date and continuing the conversation of the power of the community. We have something called Technical Takeoff in a couple of weeks. So you can meet with some of the folks on our lovely call here today, as well as other folks across product and some of our feature teams. So stay tuned for that and bookmark that. Last but not least, Q&A, and then we're at time. Any questions, comments? I guess we'll continue the conversation. But that's it for me. Thank you much for the time. No, it's a good kind of intro here, but.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Max. Great to see that, especially the support and troubleshooting page is something that I see that's often overlooked and can help massively with troubleshooting, especially in the app protection scenario part. So with that, I would say we start and dive into our first questions. And here we have, what is the best method for identifying why the feature update is not delivered to a device and is stuck on the offering and/or off-already update state and substates? Any one of you want to take that?
Sir, do you want to take that question?
I can take it. If
Thank you.
Perfect, Pierre.
So the best option is to go into the report inside the Intune blade for Windows Update. Then you can see why a specific patch is not applicable, including why a specific version is not applicable. It should also show if there's any safeguard holes on the hardware that you have. So that is really the best option to track that work.
Yeah, I think the safeguard hold here is a very good keyword, something that blocks a lot of updates. Also, I saw a lot of updates blocked because of that safeguard hold from 23H2 to 24H2. Anyone else want to add something? Yeah, Matthias?
Yeah, I can add to it that I guess there's a talk of with update for business deployment service here. Since the terms here, it sounds like it's from the report. There's also resources out there like Gary Block that has created a database for all the safeguard hold IDs that he came through, or even people sent or shipped to him. So I'd recommend that if you have safeguard holds and you don't know what the ID is, because sometimes you just get an ID and it doesn't tell you anything about what's actually wrong. Could be many things. I would suggest you go to Gary Block's GitHub repository and look for these safeguard IDs. And the other thing is, of course, make sure your device is online. At least there is, I believe it's 8 hours per month for this to work as well. And make sure that you have looked at all the prerequisites for because Microsoft Sign-in Assistant and stuff like that cannot be disabled. It needs to be at least in a manual state. Telemetry needs to be turned on, etc., etc. There's some good Microsoft docs on prerequisites for the devices. I guess the environment is working here, but you have a few devices where you need to troubleshoot this. Yeah.
Perfect. Thanks, Matthias. Did someone wants to add something, or should we jump directly in the next question?
I'll quickly share something. And I briefly kind of mentioned that in the troubleshooting thing earlier. But +1 to what everyone just mentioned, if you're not finding kind of like your next path there, the blogs that I mentioned earlier, I think we can share it in chat a little bit later too, but the aka.ms/Windows IT Pro/update -policies, that's probably a lot to remember. Again, we'll share it in chat. But those couple of blogs and resources on top of all the community stuff that are out there. I know you mentioned Gary. A lot of great information, and it helps kind of you yourself as a IT pro and admin to kind of look what's next. So of course it empowers you to what to look for now from a troubleshooting perspective and future instances.
Right. Thanks, Max. Then let's jump to the next question. The next question was, hi, is Labs feature is on the roadmap for Mac OS soon?
Yeah, I think this is a me question. So yes, it is on the roadmap. I think we actually have it on our public roadmap too. But we're actively working on this and excited to get this out later this year. So yeah, just keep an eye on that roadmap, and then also our in development and what's new docs, like Max called out, and yeah, very, very excited for that feature to roll out, get that into y'all's hands.
Yeah, I think something that we all look forward to it. So the next one, a bit of a longer question. I've been working with Intune configuration profiles lately and noticed that the search function seems quite limited. When searching for a specific setting, unless you know the exact scheme name, it often fails to search under subcategories or even returns false results. Has anyone experienced this as well? More importantly, is there any word on whatever Microsoft plans to update or enhance the search functionality to cover all categories and subcategories more efficiently? Probably would be a good question if someone from Microsoft can say something about it.
I'll take an initial pass, and then Pearl, do you want to chime in as well?
Yeah, I can take that as well.
Okay. Yeah. Well, it's kind of interesting. So was it a specific configuration profile when you were trying to create that you had this issue with a specific setting? Was it more in general you're seeing this issue? Would be a great clarity to have. Having said that, if this is something that has just started happening recently, then I would recommend connecting with one of our PMs who is an expert on the policies itself, Mike Danowski, commonly known as Dano. I would definitely recommend chatting with him as well. but the functionality definitely should not be limited like the way you are seeing it. So, Per, do you want to add more?
Yeah, so depending on how you're actually searching and what information we get from the Windows team when we put the policies in, there might be some issues. At least we have seen that in the past. And when we get the feedback, we try to fix it. If you can put in some examples in the chat, even if it's some of the new policies that we just put in the settings catalog, please let us know so we can go and figure out what is actually going on for you.
Yeah, thanks you for your input.
Okay.
And also
Florian,
one. Yeah.
Are you okay if Max or Benjamin also have more things to add here?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Benjamin?
Yeah. So I can speak from the Apple settings catalog side. So me and Dano worked very closely on bringing that or getting that released. So the way that works is it's not as intelligent as you might think. So whenever you go and search for a setting, we have those values, just kind of like those search keyword values encoded in the setting definitions themselves. And so from the Apple side, we saw that admins would go and search for gatekeeper settings, but those settings in Apple's API world they're actually called system policy control and things like that. And so we can actually go and make those changes. So like Lavanya was saying, if you give us the feedback on the settings that when you're searching for, they don't really come up quite right, then just let us know and we can definitely make that change.
Thank you. Max, do you have something as well?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, thanks. +1 to what everyone just mentioned. If folks remember my troubleshooting kind of experience before, the best kind of quickest way to get direct feedback over to the team as you find them in the admin console itself over in the top right, again, like the feedback button. So whatever blade that you're in, whether it be apps, devices, maybe feature updates, once you hit that button and provide the feedback, it goes directly to that team's queue, basically to review and triage. So that's the quickest way to get over direct feedback to us. The best way, I guess, in this instance and to the community as a whole, once you file that, maybe you're not quite seeing like a follow-up or an immediate response on something that we reported, feel free to reach out to us directly. I mentioned a couple of like social resources. So if you're active out on Twitter, again, we have our Reddit handle there as well. Feel free to reach out to us directly with more information and context, +1 to Lavanya, basically how you reproduce the issue. And with that, we're able to get it over to the right team. The nice thing, as we're in engineering, like we have our own kind of test tenants too. So we can quickly kind of check to see whether or not it reproduces in other kind of tenants, maybe even regions, and get it over to the right folks.
Perfect. Good. Simon, do you want to add something to this?
No, but I totally get what you're asking about, because I have been searching around myself and I know the setting is there, but I simply can't find it. And you just have to look around. It might be the typing and might be other things that could do this. But again, maybe AI or Copilot can help us with this in the future to find the right settings in a much easier way.
So,
yeah.
Good.
Thank you.
So
let's go to the next one.
Yes, the next question is from Niels. Niels is asking, what is the suggested method to receive files from Azure Blob Storage on a client through proactive remediation? Simply a stored secret to a service principal with read-only permissions, or are there better ways?
Do you want me to have a bash at this one? It depends entirely what's in the blob storage for a start. If it's something secretive, then no, don't put a secret in there. You could use an Azure function and pass the file back that way. But if it's a fairly simple file, my preferred option is to base64 encode the file itself and put that inside the remediation, so there's no access out to blob storage at all. So you just encode the file contents and drop them in.
Yes. Did someone had to add something?
I can add something. But if you must use some sort of cloud storage on your own, SAS tokens can definitely be used, but make sure that it's not a writable blob storage, because it's not a good idea. Make sure it's a read-only and have only the files that you need. For example, if it is a screensaver or whatever you need to bring down to a client, yeah, it's an easy way.
Yeah, good point. Always keep your secrets secret, only open as much as needed, and protect everything as much as possible. And especially if you go with high sensitive data, probably that way wouldn't be the best idea.
Yeah, and just remember that remediation scripts can be read, so it's a free one if you get hold of a device.
Good. Let's go with the next one. Oh, so Jürgen, you will need to answer. What can you tell us about event ID 2800?
Oh my God. Yeah, I know. I saw that question on the LinkedIn group earlier. Thank you for that, Niklas. He knows what I've been struggling with the last couple of days. So, well, the problem is, well, basically we're talking about unexpected reboots during Autopilot when you target some policies to the device, as we all know. Not all of them will register a 2800 event in the event log. That's one challenge. So we need to know which other ones are. And also, if we're using the user ESP, you will have different timestamps. So you will always have to match the timestamp with when it happened. Because if you deploy like credential guard to the user, doing user ESP, it will still log a 2800 event, but it will not force a reboot. So it's quite challenging with the unexpected reboots. That's for sure.
So I see next one, we need to bring Niklas on board and have some tricky questions for him as well.
Please do that, yes.
Okay, the next question is from Arthur. He has a question about Winget. His question is how to troubleshoot Winget installation and detections of Microsoft Store new apps. An example of an app is Company Portal. Regular Winget logs are not generating, as Winget might not be even installed system-wide. Yet the apps are getting deployed via Intune management extension.
Sounds like a good question for Andrew.
Thanks. Go back to the question again.
The best way how you can troubleshoot Winget installation which are pushed through Intune.
As an example was the Company Portal, and I know you have a script which takes care of that.
Yeah, I mean, I'd start by looking at the context you're deploying in. If you're pushing out through Windows Store, I would try installing locally on the device manually, because that will rule out any problems with Winget itself. Use psexec to hit the system context and do it that way. Start there. If that doesn't work, you've got a problem with Winget on the device. If that does work, you could have a problem with the firewall rule potentially blocking it. They're not easy to troubleshoot, but that's where I would start. And feel free for anyone else to help with this one.
It's always hard to troubleshoot application installation problems without the device or the actual log, but I think
especially
that
when
are
there's
some good
screw-ups.
tips. Yeah, especially with those. But I think, Lavanya, you have something to add to the question that we had before.
Right. I think Sohail just responded back based on the ask that we had. I think his feedback and suggestion is slightly more broader than a specific setting or a policy that was under creation. So my ask, Sohail, for you would be to connect with Benjamin here, and he can bring in Dano along so that you can have a working session to kind of brainstorm exactly what is it that we are thinking about as an improvement. And a lot of the folks here on the call can vouch for this, where we take all of your feedback very seriously, and a lot of those capabilities have been incorporated in the product. So please work with us in this journey, and we are happy to bring it as part of our roadmap and make improvements in the product.
Perfect. Thank you, Lamia, for that.
And add on, Florian, to the question here. So these are the modern apps, and there are event logs for this. I would also go there. So if it started, there needs to be some events of the app itself. But also, I looked back in my notes, and in 2301, there was actually coming some better WinGet troubleshooting tools to us. So once you have these Win32 apps that is within the WinGet and you deploy that from Intune, it will actually throw you a log in temp and WinGet, and default there will be a log for you there to actually show whatever the Win32 kind of installation did.
Yeah, definitely worth to check there as well. So let's go with the next question. Hi all. Are you aware about the vulnerability about Intune and Intune enrollment enterprise applications? Seems the only way to mitigate it to force an MFA on those apps using conditional access that have a big impact on UX for mobile corporate enrollments. Do you know if a better solution will be available to improve again the UX on mobile, Android, and iOS enrollments? Do we have any takes on that? Probably a bit more of a complex question.
Maybe I can take this one. Trying to understand your scenario a little bit more, and I think we need to just speak to this in more detail to understand like the whole context and your scenario. Yeah, so definitely reach out if you're active out on Twitter/X, or even like out here on LinkedIn. Feel free to reach out directly. We can talk in more detail.
Yeah, things make sense in the case. It's really always a bit, always better to have the whole context for such big questions.
Okay, good. The next question is from Jonathan. He is asking about the roadmap of Autopilot device preparation mode. If here someone can share something, what is in the roadmap or in the pipeline for the next coming releases?
Probably in one of the upcoming customer connection programs, we could take this as a follow-up to come back with the roadmap, if that works. Or Max, if you already have something lined up that you could share, we can share that as well. But I think the next program, we can come back with more specifics.
Awesome. Yeah, plus one to that. As a public roadmap, if folks are not familiar, out on our Microsoft Learn documentation, there are a few resources there. So the Autopilot, what's new? That's of course what's coming for the Autopilot feature itself. So some features and up and coming stuff lands there. In our Intune What's New, aka.ms/Intune What's New or Intune New. Either one of those two gets you to the latest and greatest on basically what's coming for Intune, including Autopilot. Apart from that, our roadmap, our M365 roadmap, aka.ms/Intune roadmap, gets you to, again, the latest and greatest. And this is everything Intune related. So I guess not directly related to Autopilot device prep, but some awesome, great resources there. And last but not least, in development as well. So aka.ms/Intune ID. Or Intune in development. Either one of those two lands you at the roadmap for all things Intune related. More specifically around feature specifics, an honorable and a shameless plug for our technical takeoff. We do have some Autopilot sessions there. We'll have some conversations and a lot more detail from the feature theme itself. Maybe we'll uncover some things that are coming soon.
Thank you. Yeah, definitely looking forward to that. So let's go with the next one. What are your top 5 must-haves for Intune configuration in regards to the endpoint security? So maybe everyone can pick 1 or 2 points they really think need to be configured, and then we can go through to everyone. Who wants to start?
I can start.
Sure.
So basically, our recommendation is to start with the security baseline if you're ready to do that as an organization. Otherwise, if I should pick one, I would definitely take the encryption piece. So you are sure that you actually have encryption storing the BitLocker recovery key in Entra, and how it's configured on your device. That is my number 1 policy that you need to do. And of course, I will always argue that you should use EPM if you are a standard user on your device and you need to elevate something, either a installer or a application that is running on your device that requires elevated access.
Thank you. Simon, do you want to take?
Yeah, of course.
Or bring your most important security setting?
I would like to remove local admins from all Windows computers, meaning
that's a good one.
Yeah, so I will have a session on that on MEM Summit in Paris, so you can join in there and learn how we can do that. But it smells laps and it smells EPM. And, yeah.
Yeah, definitely a good and very important one. So Matthias, do you have another one as well?
Where do I start? Where do I start?
Just pick one. Just one today.
Okay, just one. I would definitely recommend adding advanced threat MDE attach your device, and from there you get so many great things like compliance device risk score and things like that. So that would be my number 1.
Yeah, and then you can go through all the recommendations, and then you have your list from top 5 to top 20 to top 100. Jürgen?
Well, I have to say attack surface reduction rules then. Make sure to put the easy one in block mode. We try to categorize them in this won't break things. Put them in block mode immediately. Put the other ones in audit mode. And as Matthias said, if you have MDE, you can easily get the report on what would be blocked, and then do all your exclusions and get them over in blocked mode. We see a lot of customers not getting through audit and get them to block mode, and then you don't really are protected.
Yeah, also a good point. Very important to start at least with the audit mode. So once you're ready to go stronger, you have already all the data collected. Maybe Ben from the Apple side.
Yeah, I can definitely speak from that. Speaking from the Apple side, there's 2 that come to my top of mind. So the first one for macOS is definitely configuring platform SSO with secure enclave for passwordless authentication. This is the most secure way to do single sign-on on Mac. And so if you haven't started to assess that and look to move towards it, then that would definitely be one area I'd focus on. Tons of great sessions from our colleagues on the Entra side too, if you want to go learn more about how that infrastructure works. And then I would say the second biggest thing is, keeping your devices up to date, right? So we have the declarative device management software update settings in the settings catalog now. And Apple also just released a bunch of new settings for being able to control those. So I highly recommend using that to keep your devices up to date. And, as you see vulnerabilities and things get posted on Apple's side of all the different CVEs they've addressed, then making sure you're keeping devices up to date and enforcing those updates. It's a much more reliable experience than the previous, MDM commands that were used to update devices. So, and then also plugging the technical takeoff. I have a session on managing macOS updates next week for that. So definitely join that. And that's not just macOS, that's also cross-platform for iOS and iPad too. But yeah, DDM updates and platform SSO, I would say, are my two top of mind configuration settings.
Perfect, thank you. Yeah, platform SSO also gives a lot of a better user experience for the whole single sign-on and onboarding. So that's definitely a good one.
Definitely.
Andrew, do you want to add something as well?
Yep. Compliance and conditional access. You've got all your security policies in, but if you're not blocking your devices from getting to data, if they're riddled with viruses, then it doesn't help a great deal.
Very good. Yeah. Very important to actually check if what you've configured is applied to devices. Good. I think that was some good points. Let's take another question. So, because we don't have a lot of time left.
Yes.
Yannick,
the next question is from Sven. He has a question directly to Benjamin. He said, I'm testing the DDM, macOS, and iOS software updates, automatic action, macOS 15 Plus, and have set the settings to always on, but without using the DDM deadline feature, I don't see the device actually downloading or installing updates. So I hope you could highlight what the expected behavior should be here. Hope Benjamin could give more insights into this.
Yeah, definitely. Sven always has good questions. So for that, what I would recommend is if you do see the DDM configuration, if you see those settings in the management profile and they're installed correctly, and you're seeing the system settings, like the software update pane, reflect that too, then I would definitely recommend taking a sysdiagnose and opening up an Apple Care support ticket. But also go through our channels too, so that we can help investigate that. I did in some of the last betas for Apple, they have made some updates to software updates. And so it potentially could be something that there was an issue that is going to get addressed in a future update as well. But definitely recommend going through the support path to get that investigated, and always feel free to reach out with that scenario to me directly, and I can take a look too.
Hey, perfect. Thank you, Ben.
So let's go with the last question. Any update on the Windows driver and firmware update roadmap? When can we expect to have more details, information in driver in the list, like which models and driver names? So I guess they refer to like filtering and categorizing the drivers here. Very good question from Peter. Can anyone from Microsoft say anything about the roadmap on the driver features?
I'm happy to go. So for all things Microsoft roadmap, I think the quick and easy answer is take a look at our roadmap post and blog. I believe that's aka.ms/M365 roadmap. And there you'll find kind of the overarching roadmap for all Microsoft products through M365 to Windows to Teams to Intune, MDE, kind of you name it. So if you're looking for any kind of larger feature announcements, that'll be your best place to look. I mentioned some of the Intune in development stuff earlier, so aka.ms/Intune roadmap or Intune ID gets you kind of what's coming in the upcoming or next future iteration or release. And with that, across some of the other products across Microsoft, we also have in development docs and what's new for the available kind of spaces. So definitely give a look in over our Microsoft Learn docs. And if you're not finding what you're looking for there, feel free to reach out to us directly, and we'll be able to help you and point you to the right direction. Specifically for Windows drivers, that's a combination between both Intune and Windows. So I don't have an immediate answer for you today, but yeah, definitely reach out directly. We can get some more information for you.
Awesome, thank you, Max. And also the whole update management and everything around drivers and also Windows updates is also great. Idea to go to conferences and speak to people from the field experience. That always helps a lot. So I'm sure if you attend any conferences, there will be sessions on those topics as well. So Yannick, should we take another question or should we skip?
I think we should jump into the raffle. Let me share for this my screen. Good. Yeah, as I said at the beginning, we have three things what we have in our raffle today. The first thing where we want to start with is a ticket for the MEM Summit in Paris. And the second and third thing is 2 books from myself, where also Lavanya and some other community members took part of it. And this is what we have today for you. And with this, I want to check the first one who will win the ticket for the MEM Summit. It's Peter. Perfect. Congrats, Peter. The best is if you reach out to me in LinkedIn, write me a message, and then we will clarify everything with you. Then let's remove him and make a second spin on the reel for the book. And this is, I hope I pronounce you right. Congrats to the book. And last but not least, for the second book, we have Marius. Congrats also to you. Great. And with this, I want to hand over also once again to Lavanya because she wants to say something about the technical takeoffs.
Thank you, Yannick, and congratulations to all the winners. It's so exciting. I wish I was one of them who got the ticket to go to Paris. Just kidding. And definitely a must read on Yannick's book. Amazing content and information, so you will definitely love it. But what I really wanted to do a quick public service announcement is next week between March 3rd and 6th, we have the technical takeoff sessions happening from Microsoft. We have experts coming in each of these sections to talk about various topics, including Autopilot and the roadmap as well. So if you want to know more about the timing and the details of the session, please go to aka.ms/technical takeoff. Florian, if you can share that with the audience, that'll be great. And yes, that's pretty much what I wanted to share. And I also appreciate Florian, Yannick, and the MEM organizers having us here and giving us the floor to talk through and connect with the community. So on behalf of Microsoft team here, I would like to really thank each one of you.
Perfect. Thank you very much for everyone to joining our today's session. Thanks for all speakers. I think you did all an amazing job, and looking forward to our next episode, and see you soon. Bye bye.
Thank you, everyone.